Hello and welcome to another Skelicopter tutorial. Well, the first Skelicopter tutorial, but welcome to it. My name is Mr. Santamon, and I will be your guide today. We are going to be doing an introductory course on sprite art. Well, not course, but rather an introduction to sprite art, which I may follow up with future videos, but just in case, I'll try to be comprehensive as possible with this lesson. We will be using the GIMP. You're more than welcome to use the Photoshop, MS Paint, or any paint program that you like. I do not claim to be the sprite artist, but I hope to get you to at least a point of being comfortable in tiny areas. So first of all, we're going to make a little dude, but first I need to go ahead and paint bucket this white. And we're going to make a dude. There are two major divisions of spriting for games. You can do outline spriting with a black or gray outline, or you can do Nintendo style for the any like Nintendo IPs for the NES, where the color ending was an outline, which is probably better for smaller projects, but probably not as good for larger ones. Even Nintendo and the SNES generation switched to using outlines. So, and to me, that's one of the biggest things I liked about the early Sega. So if you'll see, this is a 16 by 16 square, and each one of these little dots is a pixel. So we're going to make a little dude. We're going to start by gonna get skin tone. And to make a circle, first thing to do is to realize that a head is either wider than it is long, or longer than it is wide. It's rarely ever a perfect circle. And you also want to know if the person's facing you or not. We're going to do a sprite facing you. Very similar to drawing, but for for this perspective, we'd like the guy to be facing you. And we'll, unlike certain other areas of art, you don't want to start with shading or details. You want to start with the basic. So, notice how I'll go back over here. Notice how I switched to my color took my color palette, made a circle. I might change this later. I'm making a base outline of what I want him to look like. And I started with the head. Of course, that is a big head for 16-bit. And then I worked my way into the torso. And we will start with the shoulders. This is actually not very good. Let me make that head a little smaller. I've been doing 32-bit sprites for a Flash game that I'm working on currently, so I'll start closer to the top. Maybe this will look a little better. And maybe just to make sure you see where I'm going, we'll give him little green eyes. Other way. Yeah, there we go. And we'll sample over here. And I'm going to make the head a little bigger now. Like I said, I don't claim to be the best, but and I still have my fair share of problems. And I think I'll start working on the torso. Since we're doing this in true 16-bit, I'll try to stick to 16 colors. Of course, we are just doing pixel art, so I may change that at a whim. Before you do details, you'll want to make sure that you fill it in. And we usually don't do necks, and the reason for that is in at least small ones. Oops, crap. These small sprites, you don't have usually enough room to do those extra details like necks. So we'll start with our guy, just so you can see that he has a shape. We'll add detail to him. So now that we know that's sort of the amount of room that we have, and hopefully you've been paying attention to what I'm doing, we can sort of start going back in and making sure we add detail and sort of making these legs look better and making his arms look better. First of all, I'm going to give him a little bit more defined shoulders, and I'm just going to add there. Make his arm one longer. May add hands. I'm going to make his legs a little different. And you sort of just stream of consciousness. At least that's how I do it. And end up with this dude, and we'll go take our next color and we'll make it orange, get something, then something like that. Well, brown, and then there we go. And then we will give him a little hat. That doesn't look much like a hat, guys. It is 3 in the morning. Not usually a good excuse to claim to be tired, but you know, I do have another one pulled up. This guy doesn't look bad. But give this guy a little hat. We'll highlight that in a second with green down here, and give him a little bit of a. There we go. We'll go over here, pick a darker shade, and that's what we're going to do with shoulders in. And we're going to do his feet in that too. And we will add onto his little chest area, and obviously we need to give him some hands, so you can do it there, there, or there. And what kind of character would be complete without let me go back and add this, and I will go into a bit more detail in a second, but it's pretty easy to see what I'm doing. That's why I started with such a low res sprite detail. That's 3, yeah. And I'll give him his hand. And I will give him a sword. And over here, we'll go back to the same tinge of brown and go. Oh, that's the reason. And I'm made a noob mistake, but there we go. Of course, the green would go right here because it's on his other side of his arm, and there is his shield. now we will add a bit of definition to his face. Give him pale cheeks. And I think probably want to give him blue eyes, because our guy is obviously obviously too much green. So and I need to extend that hilt underneath his hand. And there you have a very basic little hero sprite. And actually, I will show you the amount of detail I'm actually working with. That is it in 100%. So there is him at 1600%, which is about the size of Big Mario in the SNES or the NES Super Mario. So there is our little dude. And I'm going to go ahead and save him to my desktop, or actually export it, because that's how. Export to desktop, make it untitled. Okay, so there's our little dude in 16 by 16. I know that there are far better heroes, but let's go ahead and make another 32 by 32 this time. A little bit trickier. We'll go in this time to the 2300 percentage, and I'm going to make it white again with the bucket tool. And let's see. We're going to do another person. We're going to start with the face again. That's nowhere near the center. Try to keep your best center if you don't want to do exact measuring in the beginning. Keeping a good idea of the center and starting the head in the center, unless, of course, you have a reason not to. For instance, if he's turned, or, whatever. Okay, and this time we're going to do the hair in black. And then this, I'm still going to do the non-outlined tie. Now, Nintendo solved this, which I really liked. They put the whites under the eyes, or over it. How does actually let me look up a Link sprite? Ah, that's right. They done brown and green. So strange. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave them like that and just give them some brown eyebrows. And that'll work. Here we go. Except now, I'm messing up so hard tonight. I am terribly sorry, guys. Please don't believe I'm terrible at this. I've done this before, I swear. I think, I'm so tired. Okay, I think that's right. Finally, do I get this right? Did I get it right? Yeah, I think I did. There we go. And we'll give him a mouth. And we'll see if we can do lip hair on one this size. You'll usually do a lighter pink, like that. And I'll give him... No, that don't work. That looks like a nose. But he's already got facial hair, so. And I think... And you usually try to make the fill of like a shirt different than the way you would make the fill of the arms or what have you. And I usually start by separating the arms from the chest, and then I will tile in the layers of the chest. And then I go back and finish the arms. And make the chest as long as I want it. Which, on 32-bit, I usually make down to around here. Belts are your friend here, because you can use the same hair color. And then you can do the same color as the shirt if you want. And you can have freedom with hips too, so remember that much. Oh, it does not need to be that large. It can be the bat symbol, though. Yeah. Anyway, he needs a belt buckle. I'll just give him that. That looks okay. Anyway, we got our little adventure looking at a potion. And I think you guys will get really good if you just stay at it. And refer back to me if you need any extra help. I should be doing more of these, hopefully. I use the GIMP for these. I will be using the GIMP for these tutorials. For anything that I release separately, I'll be using Photoshop. Upon request, I can do a Adobe Photoshop tutorial series. However, since the GIMP is free and open source, I figured it might be easier for more people to get their hands on it. Photoshop is a rather nice piece of software. I'm by no means a professional, so you know, I certainly don't mean to give off that impression if I do. But I figured since we just started this channel, I'd go ahead and make us a nice little tutorial. So we ended up with this guy right here. We started off with this guy, so if you'll look, we look at the difference. We started with that guy, and we ended with this guy. And next time I can teach how to do a few outline sprites. Of course, you can probably see how to do this one. I'll throw this one up here so you can see the difference between outlines. People noted for doing outlines and early sprites are Sega IPs had a lot of outlines. Even the first gen Mega Man was black outlined. And this is another 32-bit sprite. And next time, hopefully, we'll work on some 64-bit sprites. That way, we didn't want to start off by intimidating everybody with a big 64 by 64 grid that you had to put in 1 pixel at a time. So we started off pretty well. If anybody's interested in doing it, the smaller you go, the harder it is to add in detail. So note that once you go to like 8-bit, you really lose out on a lot. Or 8 by 8 resolution. I keep saying bits, but that's referring to the color. This would legitimately be 8-bit, but I think 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors. So yeah, he'd be okay. And then the other one, I have no clue how many colors I used in him, but the resolution is 32 by 32. So, and this one's 16 by 16. So when you get to a 64 by 64, you end up with, you know, a bit more detail you can add in. I think I've done a 64 by 64 that I can show you. Yeah, this is 64. Here would be something that you could do in 64 by 64. So the difference is notable with the amount of detail you can add in. And then 128 by 128 is also pretty fun to do. So just keep up with it and have fun doing what you do. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. And I will certainly be posting up some plenty of other videos for you guys to watch. Hopefully it entertained you enough. And see you next time.